The last episode was on the dunning-kruger effect, or how low competence in something is actually a double curse because not only are we bad at something, but that same lack of skill blinds us to just how bad we are, which not only compounds problems, but makes most people that are in need of the most improvement be confident that they're doing just fine. And how the remedy to the dunning-kruger effect is to peel back our assumptions by asking questions that uncovers the often uncomfortable true reality in spite of our brain's tendency to steer clear of uncomfortable realizations like how incompetent in something we are and how our convictions or even entire worldview is based off of misinformation. Today, we're venturing into closely related territory, formerly explored by psychologists Joseph Luft and Harrington Ingram, but catapulted into the public consciousness by the United States Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld when he said,
"There are known knowns. There are things we know that we know. There are known unknowns. That is to say, there are things that we now know we don't know. But there are also unknown unknowns. There are things we do not know we don't know."
And if one looks throughout history of our country and other free countries, it is the latter category that tends to be the difficult ones. This seemingly obvious statement holds a profound key to navigating life more effectively. In fact, I'd put it in the top 50 of world-changing ideas if more of us truly grasped and applied it. Namely, that in any given situation, you should have the intellectual humility to acknowledge that there are unknown unknowns that you haven't considered. And that realization should lead you to not only be teachable and open-minded, but actively curious to uncover more of the things you aren't considering before coming to a conclusion or thinking your solution or view is the right one. One of the places where unknown unknowns cause the most harm, according to Nobel Prize-winning economist Daniel Kahneman, is how we rush to blame others. According to Kahneman in his book Thinking Fast and Slow, when a problem arises, our mental detective agency wants to stop the investigation as soon as it finds a reason to blame someone else, even if the evidence is pretty flimsy. As soon as we find a merely adequate way to explain the situation that absolves us of needing to change or take responsibility, we feel superior, secure, and ready to move on. Think of all the political pundits who gather millions of followers when all they basically do is blame the opposing party all day long. But here's the harsh truth. Life rarely unfolds like a low-budget whodunit film. Despite our hunter-gatherer brains craving to blame a convenient other, most conflicts don't have a clear villain. They unfold due to multiple, often unseen contributing factors. The kicker being that those contributing factors often include the very things our ego desperately wants to ignore. Our own lack of foresight, our own ingrained biases and blind spots, our own poor communication skills, etc. In other words, the things that fall under the ego-destroying category, things we don't know, we don't know. Discounting the things we're unaware of and the multifaceted nature of most problems gives the benefit of an easy-to-explain reality where we're the hero, but comes at one of the steepest costs of your life. Our convenient storytelling creates the common side effect of a negative spiral that, because we're ignorantly misattributing the problem, instead of win-win resolution and forward progress, instead we get escalation, alienation, and a false sense that you are better than you are, and others are worse than they are, the central feature of the dunning-kruger delusion. The takeaway here is to keep top of mind your brain's natural inclination to overlook what it doesn't know. To change your life, before you react in the next challenge, the next relationship hiccup, the next business snag, just assume that there are likely unknown unknowns at play before you jump to conclusions or point fingers. Instead, channel your inner detective. Un-Dunning-Kruger yourself by going to the other party and first asking something like, what is one thing about this situation you think I don't fully understand? Practice genuine curiosity. Actively listen. If you're sincere and curious, I promise, Over time, you'll train your brain to move beyond the superficial satisfaction of easy but wrong answers and black and white blame games and start uncovering the deep, often hidden dynamics at play, including the ever-elusive shadow work of knowing your true self. The vast ocean of unknown unknowns will begin to shrink, and you'll find yourself escaping the fate of most people who experience the same copy-pasted problems, just with different faces and settings. Instead, you'll actually solve and prevent problems and have greater results in your life. And for an extra boost in uncovering your blind spots and unknown unknowns at play in your life, I highly recommend Googling the Johari window exercise. Do it with a few perceptive friends or colleagues. It's a game-changing tool for turning unknown unknowns into powerful self-knowledge and greater awareness. Remember, the path to learned empowerment isn't about pretending we know everything. It's about embracing the humility to acknowledge that we don't, and the courage to keep seeking and staying teachable. Committed to your success, Kendel.